Thanks for that, boys. Now, when Sophie Ellis-Bextor came to the studio to face her food heaven or food hell, she told us she was in tune with tuna but wouldn't make much room for mushrooms. Heaven or hell? Let's find out.
Right, time to find out whether Sophie is facing her food heaven or her food hell. Your food heaven could be tuna. We're going to make a poke bowl, which is some it's basically tuna, which is chopped up finely. We've got some soy sauce, a little bit of sesame oil, some honey. It's all marinated. We're going to serve it over sushi rice with some seaweed. Very different, but very delicious, and definitely in your heaven category.
It is.
But if we go food hell, we're going creamy risotto.
What? Oh, no.
Hopefully cooked beautifully to change your mind. We're going to add some pan-fried Jerusalem artichokes, a little bit of rocket and poached egg. It's going to be creamy, delicious, and hopefully change your mind. But
sounds quite nice.
I know, it does. Now, we do know that the callers went 2-1 to heaven, so it's actually down to these two to decide. So can you guess which way they went? They could have given you your hell, so do you think they were kind?
I think they were kind.
You do? Well, they were. Yeah. The good news is we are going with food heaven, so we're going for a tuna poke bowl.
We can still keep talking to each other till the end of the show.
Exactly. We can all stay friends. Yeah. Right, we're going to get rid of our risotto ingredients and we're going to make this poke bowl. So this is an intro. Have you heard of a poke bowl?
I heard of Pokemon.
Well, basically, it's an Hawaiian dish, and it's become really, really popular in the States at the moment. I'm sure it'll be the next big thing over here. But you see, it's actually a street food. So in Hawaii, you see them served in little plastic containers, and they're kept frozen in little ice boxes. And so you have a little bit of poke, you can have a little bit of rice, and there's lots of other kind of alternative ingredients you can have with it. But really, the key with this, and if you're going to make this at home, it's really important to get really fresh quality tuna and make sure...
Are you going to cook the tuna, or
we're not going to cook it at all.
So
it just gets marinated. So it's very like sashimi, absolutely. We do have some soy sauce and some sesame oil going in there. John, you're working away on our onions.
Yeah, I'll chop these up.
Okay, and Marianne, what are you up to there?
I'm doing the sushi rice.
Oh, lovely, okay.
So just going to bring it to the boil and then put the lid on and let it do the absorption method.
Doesn't that take quite a long time?
About 5-10 minutes.
Okay.
By the magic of television, we have one that's ready.
I was going to say,
don't get worried, Sophie. We will get to the end of the show. It could...
Someone's thought of all this
I know.
I don't need to worry.
It's like they've done it before here. It's amazing. It's amazing. So we've got the honey going in there. Essentially, we're making a sort of marinade for this. And I think, you know, we're making a quick version of this, but if you have the time, leave it sitting in this marinade and it really, the meat absolutely absorbs it.
The flavours already, they're delicious.
Yeah, it's got, I think it's the sesame oil that just hits you straight away.
It's really good.
We've got a little touch of some chili pepper going in here as well, just for a bit of heat. I do like this to be a nice bit of a kick. We made it earlier, and the guys here were a little bit taken aback by the heat.
No, I'm into that.
Okay, good. So that essentially is your marinade for this dish, and it's a very, very simple one to make up. So you can we're going to marinate this in here with some sesame seeds that's reconstituted seaweed, and we've got some coriander and then the onions as well. So very, very simple. Now you are basically next week hitting the road, going back on tour, and how does that work when you have a family of 4 and the husband to look after? How do things go?
So Richard's coming with me. He plays in the band.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, it's obviously the worst part of my work is when I have to say bye to the kids and go away for a little bit. But I try and make my trips as sort of short as they can be, really. So the longest I've been away since I became a mum was a week. Okay. And I've only done that maybe twice in 12 years. So mainly it sometimes means I don't sleep very much. I went to Australia about a year ago, and I was there for 2 nights in 2 different cities. So I can do some pretty extraordinary...
Hardcore travelling.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I sang 2 nights there, and then I just turned around and came all the way home again. But...
no time to relax?
No, but then with the touring, I give myself permission to do it because I love it, and it is my work. So, you know, I think hopefully I will instill in my kids a decent work ethic as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so, I mean, do they understand what mummy does, or is it, you know, is it something?
I hope so. The oldest one's 12. If he's still figuring it out,
that would be a good point.
I'm going to draw some little stick figures when I go home. Yeah, they're surrounded by music. I mean, obviously my little one's only a baby, but. Yeah, they know that they get to go to festivals and come along to sound checks and bang on the drums. And I mean, my brother's a drummer. A lot of their godparents are other musicians. You know, they're sort of surrounded by it, really. I think they're a bit surprised when other people don't do that. And it's more a surprise for them.
And do you think they would end up going down that route, or would you want them to go down that route?
I don't know. They'll probably rebel and get, like, really conventional jobs. Some sort of job stability. A
family full of bankers.
Yeah, exactly. There's a couple where I think... I'd be surprised if they don't you know, going to a band when they're at school for fun. I don't know if it'll be what they do for a living, but
Okay.
I hope they love music as much as we do. If they can, you know, find music that means something to them, I think
Okay.
that's the best I can hope for, really.
So just to give you a little bit of a recipe recap, we're slicing and dicing up this
We are.
this
I
beautiful
say we,
tuna.
I'm watching.
It's very nice, isn't it? Yeah. And then the guys have chopped up our onion, our spring onions. You're picking some coriander leaves for me, Marianne. Thank you very much. And essentially, the great thing about this recipe is that it just comes together very, very easily. Like, it sounds complicated, and there are a few
I
kind
could
of...
actually eat the tuna like that.
could
I love it that much. Yeah, I love it that much, honestly. It's
Well,
so good.
we are in business, so I'm glad you got your heaven. I don't think you would have said that about the risotto.
Give me that raw rice.
So we were all quite excited about the risotto in the rehearsal, so, you know, we'll have to have that again
Cook
next
it as
time.
well. Let's have it all.
Tuna
It's fine.
risotto. I don't think that works. So we've got this nicely sliced up. And as I said, leave it to sit in that marinade. It will really make a difference to the flavour here. So this tuna now goes in here, looking very good. And that's the smell of that is absolutely gorgeous. It really has that kind of exotic sort of Asian flavour going on. And you see, this is what's interesting. That seaweed makes all the difference.
Really nice.
Gorgeous.
Do you,
What have
do
you
you
done
ever
with the
use seaweed?
Put it in boiling water, is that what you
Yeah,
do?
you
Just
it comes right.
rehydrate it in some boiling water.
Cool.
Yep. Because I love the smell of the seaweed, actually. It's delicious.
Me
Really
too.
makes
Is it easy to buy, that stuff?
Yeah, I think
Yes.
a lot of fishmongers are starting to sell it now.
Yeah? Okay.
So, Sophie, what do you eat on tour? Is it pokeballs or, or risottos?
What do I eat on tour? Oh, no, loads. I quite often have sushi before a gig.
Okay.
It's quite a nice thing because it's got lots of really good protein here. It gives you energy. It doesn't make you feel too sluggish.
Okay.
And I don't like to eat sort of too close to the show, so we'll go for kind of quite an early supper.
Right.
And then the danger with touring is eating after you've performed, because that's when you get that kind of craving to have things like crisps and sandwiches and stuff. So I try and stay away from, otherwise it's like, before you know it, you've kind of
Yeah.
come home a little bit.
Bit tubbier than
Yeah,
you left.
a bit chubbier than you left, exactly.
What's happened to me?
Bextor, that's not her. It's interesting because I do think, you know, you have to keep watch of these things, you know, especially because you're not in control and you're changing, you know, changing where you are all the time.
Yeah, I think also you just want to feel like, you know, I just want to feel strong and capable when I'm on stage. Really. And I jump around a lot and I'm singing while I'm jumping up and down, so it's important to me that I feel, yeah, like I'm, you know, capable of dealing with those things and not feeling too sluggish. I want to have good energy levels, because if I can't sell the show and get into it myself, then I can't expect my audience to do the same.
Okay,
so.
okay. And do you see, like, over the years, over 17 years of a career, if it's not longer, do you find you see the same people, or do you have new fans kind of coming on board at this
A
point?
bit of both, really. Yeah, there are definitely some familiar faces, and that's really helpful. And some of them will be singing along to things down the front. So if I'm having a wobble about what a next lyric is, I normally try and quickly lip read what they're up to.
Okay.
Which can be quite handy. But yeah, no, I think that's the nice thing about a career, is you can kind of, it's not really like a straight line. It's kind of takes a little bit of a journey, a bit of an adventure.
Moving. It's interesting, and we've been getting a lot of tweets about your dress, about
really?
this little cat, the paws. But apart from that, there is some food questions out there as well, and one for John. They're looking to ask how you would cook beef short ribs.
Oh, right, OK. Well, again, that's a nice little braising method, something that you can leave in the oven for 6 hours.
Yeah.
So I braise it. I like to cook it with stout as well.
Okay.
I think that's a really nice way. If you just braise it slowly with some stout, again, lots of onions.
Very nice.
And I just think it's, especially in season now, Jerusalem artichoke puree, and maybe for a bit of crispiness, texture, just some Jerusalem artichoke crisps as well.
Lovely. That sounds
That
fantastic.
looks really good.
Okay, so we are going to grab some knives and forks, and I think this is pretty much it. We've got a poke bowl ready to go. You can add all sorts of different ingredients in here, lots of fresh salad leaves if you wanted to, but that is, I mean, that at its core is a really good poke bowl and a good way to start the craze in the UK, hopefully. So dig in there. We've got some forks for you guys. I know you guys are pretty excited about this poke bowl, so try that and let us know what you think.
Donald, may I give a quick shout out to my Uncle Duncan,
You
who's told
can.
me that I'm on his favourite programme, and that he sometimes, this is a bit tragic actually, Duncan, but he tries to pre-guess which wine is going to be paired up with each dish. Who does that?
How do you even
My
know?
uncle. I don't know. I hope he gets it right sometimes.
Right, well, we'll have to see if he's guessed this one, which is one that Peter has chosen to go with our poke bowl. It's the Tim Adams Clare Valley Riesling. It's 2015. Unky Dunky, I hope you've got that right, all right?
Unky Dunky is it?
So we'll serve this up. So tuna, obviously the food heaven. How have we delivered on the food heaven?
It's gorgeous.
Delicious.
What do you think?
So refreshing,
Yeah,
amazing.
it's quite different, isn't it?
Delicious.
Have you seen poke bowls in the UK yet?
I haven't, no.
I've seen it on
but,
Instagram quite a lot.
On
but
Instagram, yeah.
I'm just coming.
So try the wine now, and let's see if Unky Dunky would be pleased with that. So I did know as we were Sophie got a message from Unky Dunky. I saw that he signs it Unky Dunky.
Yeah, it's from him and my auntie Elaine. Auntie Donkey, yeah.
So try the wine, let us know what you think. Very nice.
Oh, that's lovely.
Very nice.
lovely.
It's beautiful.
crisp, isn't
Okay.
Food heaven for Sophie there, with Donald setting a poke bowl trend in the UK, and hopefully a wine pairing that Unky Dunky would approve of. Anyway, that's all we've got time for on today's Saturday Kitchen Best Bites. But if you want to make any of today's studio dishes, you can find all the recipes on the BBC Food website. And remember to tag us in your photos using the hashtag Saturday Kitchen. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you next week.